Good morning and welcome back. 36 years ago today, the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior and went down with all 29 crew members. And however, the Edmund Fitzgerald is not alone. Thousands of shipwrecks rest on the bottom of the Great Lakes, so each one has its own story to tell. So I took it upon myself to explore one of them. To see the shipwrecks up close, they first needed to learn how to scuba dive. So Keith Hintz from Bay City's Dive and Glide took me to the pool for a few lessons, which included the skills and safety rules to dive in the open water. And once out on the boat, I put on nearly 50 pounds of equipment. Then suited up and I was ready to dive Lake Huron and visit the Barbara Lyn face to face. The 60-ton aluminum tugboat, over 51 feet long, 800 horsepower, was built in Alabama, says Captain Jim Moore, the man who originally tried to salvage the sunken ship. The Barbara Lynn sank in 1990 off Point of Barks, Michigan. She was used for towing different types of marine construction equipment, and on October 1st, the waters were getting rough and the storms were rolling in. At the time, she was towing 2 construction barges.
When it tracked her down this time, they had 10-foot following seas and the rear engine room doors were open. All within the course of probably 30 to 60 seconds, we're swimming.
On board the tugboat were the 3 crew members and a captain who was unable to swim.
They had all gone to the bow because the bow was still kind of floating, and they were standing on the bow, and they got out of their Carhartts down into their underwear, and they plunged into Lake Huron and swimming for the barges.
The other crew members helped the captain get to the barges. They missed the first one and went on to the second barge. They tried to throw him a line.
And the captain wouldn't swim, just wouldn't swim. And he yelled at him, "You gotta swim, you gotta swim, you gotta swim," and he wouldn't swim, so he let go of him. And he drifted off, suffered from hypothermia, died the next day.
What's left of the Barbara Lynn sits at about 30 feet below, but at one time it was much further down, more than 200 feet. Captain Moore had tried to salvage her, but the weather prevented his success.
He said it couldn't be done.
After several efforts, the Barbara Lynn is now resting off the shore near Port Austin, but the Barbara Lynn is just one of thousands of shipwrecks beneath the Great Lakes. And you can check out a lot of them for yourself at the Bay County Historical Museum.
Great Lakes were actually the waterway allowed us to go all the way around the lakes, all the way up to the northernmost reaches of Lake Superior eventually, and eventually all the way out to the Atlantic Ocean. And by there, you can go all the way to the world. You have ships on the lakes, you're gonna have shipwrecks.
Beneath the surface, each ship has its own story waiting to tell, and even those who have dove many of times are still in awe by each ship's rich history.
Every dive that I've done, I see something a little bit different.
And with me, the man who shot all the underwater video is scuba and documentary producer extraordinaire. That's what I'm calling you, because that's what you are, Rick Mixer.
It's great to be here.
Well,
I'm so excited you got to see our world of shipwrecks.
Yes, it is a whole nother world underneath the surface, and so we're just able to share a couple stories, you know, touching on the Edmund Fitzgerald, the anniversaries today.
Yeah.
What was one of the most fascinating parts to you? Because you actually dove that ship and saw it for yourself.
We all grew up too with the song, you know, being on the charts, and literally for me it was getting up personal with this shipwreck and how big it is and how we were able to spend an hour down there, where normally most of my visits to shipwrecks are maybe 20 minutes, and then we have to decompress as we come back up the line. You learned that, you know, we have certain limitations as we're underneath the water, so to be able to spend an hour at that depth, it was pretty amazing. And I still didn't get to see everything that I wanted to see, so we hope there's going to be a time that we might be able to go back.
Okay, and in general, you dove the Barbara Lynn with me. Diving shipwrecks, to me, you know, this is my first glance at it. It was just kind of like looking at history right up in front of your face.
It really is, and the Barbara Lynn is relatively recent. I mean, here's a tragic loss of a captain in 1990. We know that these shipwrecks happen all the time, but we have schooners that are 400 years old that are in the Great Lakes. So what an incredible repository, if you will, a giant underwater museum that we can go and visit 400 years of maritime history, and it's all perfectly preserved right there for us to go see. All we have to do is put on tanks.
And you know what? I only took 2 lessons, so it's really something that anyone could do.
It is, and you have to keep training. I mean, it's not just taking one class. It's not, you know, you have to continue to train to be able to push those limits a little bit further, a little bit deeper, a little bit colder, and that's all it really requires. Anybody over 12 years old can take the lessons, and we encourage everyone to try to explore our Great Lakes.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Rick, and hopefully inspired some people at home to try it themselves. It was my first time. So again, it's really fun and a great experience. So thanks again.
My pleasure.
Joel?
Oh my gosh, Janet, that was such an awesome story. Good job on that.